Welcome to Kuchalo, your leading online hub for Zambians in the diaspora. Kuchalo is a trusted source of news and practical information that is tailored for Zambians near and far. What we are: a platform designed by Zambians for Zambians and friends of Zambians inclusive, and Ubuntu powered. We bring you the latest diaspora news, travel and tourism insights, investment opportunities, and uplifting diaspora stories. We are a community-focused, non-political space. Our approach is Ubuntu first, content that strengthens community, celebrates heritage, and brings people together. Where you'll find us: in Zambia, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, India, Russia, and everywhere in between. Kuchalo keeps you informed, connected, and inspired. Want to advertise to the Zambian diaspora? Contact us today. Join the Kuchalo community. Subscribe, like, and share.
Hello, I'm especially pleased today on a Sunday, June 21st, to celebrate the men out there, the fathers, the father figures. We are having a conversation today with association presidents. Some are still serving as association presidents, and some are retired like me. For those who may not know, I used to be the association president for the state of Indiana. I served as the leader for 2 terms, and then I retired in 2020 to give room, space, and for others to be able to step up and step in and be able to lead. Our conversation today, we have gathered a number of Zambian association leaders from California, from Florida, from the DMV area, District of Columbia, Virginia, and Maryland. And we have also gathered a leader from the Carolinas. There is North and South Carolina. So we are very pleased to be able to get these men to share some thoughts on today's conversation discussion. And the theme for our conversation today is looking at celebrating fathers, obviously being a Father's Day celebration, but we are focusing on the roles, resilience, and responsibility. The 3 R: roles, resilience, and responsibility, because it takes responsibility and it takes resilience, and one has to play this role as a father. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Now, let's get the show on the road. Let's meet a panelist. So we have Mr. Mabvuto Kaela from the state of California. We have Mr. Aka Oza, president, and we have the retired president from Florida, Mr. Francis. And also we have the current president for the DMV area, Maryland, Connecticut, Virginia, in Washington, D.C., Mr. Ndemena. So greetings, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Start with Francis Kombe. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, and good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are getting us from. My name is Francis Kombe. I'm the past president of Zambians in Florida, Association of Zambians in Florida. I served for 2 years in a beautiful community. I'm a Zambian, and I'm a father of 4, proud father of 4. It's an amazing feeling. I'm in the healthcare business, and this is what I do in terms of my profession. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Mabvuto. Your introduction, sir.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. My name is Mabvuto Kaela. I'm the current president of Zambians in Northern California. This is my second term as of this year. Been in the US a long time. I've done a number of things and currently involved in heavy technology, some light economic diplomacy, and look into how we can shape the future of Zambia. I'm a dad of twins, and looking forward to be here.
Great. Let's go to Aka.
Thank you so much. My name is Aka Masheke Kashambatwa. I am the president of Organization of Zambians Abroad, OZA. I started serving in this role this January. I am also the president of the Association of Zambians in North and South Carolina. So between North and South Carolina, we have one association. We are on the southeastern of the USA, and so I'm excited to be here. I am a father of two, and father of many people that I mentor in the community, young people and children. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a social entrepreneur as well. I work in healthcare sector for a healthcare network organization out of Southern California. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Ndemena.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Noah. Thank you for having me. My name is Ndemena Chitumbo. I'm the current president for the Association of Zambians in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I know in your introduction, you also included Connecticut. That's not part of us. It's just Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Besides that, I'm a proud father. I'm a husband. I love, my passion is in music and arts. So that's something that I do with a passion. Besides that, I also run an organization that we recently formed, Bridge 7 Foundation. It's a nonprofit foundation that's aimed at supporting youth, especially in our motherland in Zambia. So briefly, that's a little bit about myself. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, I appreciate you all taking time to be on this important conversation as we reflect, as we celebrate what fatherhood is. So, the first question that I have is, leadership always starts at home. How can Zambian fathers effectively transition from a traditional authority figure model to a positive role model approach within their modern household or community in the diaspora? Because we're coming from a different leadership or fatherhood style when some of us were growing up, but now we are growing up in a different nation. How do we respond? What type of fatherhood do we need in this regard? So let's start with Mr. Aka. Take a stab at this question.
Well, thank you, Ndrovu, for that question. That's a wonderful question and a framing. First and foremost, I want to say that fatherhood has evolved over time. I think we are, as you have rightly put, we are coming from a traditional provider kind of, breadwinner kind of fatherhood, where the father stayed, worked, went to work, and the mother or the wife stayed at home and took care of the home and took care of the children. I think what has happened over time is that there has been an evolution of fatherhood to where fathers are now active participants in the nurturing of children, being present, being able to emotionally support the home, and also in that same respect, as an extension, the women as well have stepped up and began eventually into professional life to an extent that fatherhood requires you to not only be a provider or breadwinner, but someone who actually co-parents the home. And so, and also what I've observed is that fatherhood has also been extended to not just nurturing children, being an active participant in the lives of the family, but the community at large. As many probably you hear from my colleagues here, you're going to probably hear testimonies of people that just not parent or father their own children as a priority, as number one, but also mentor other children and youth in the community. And so if we want a better society, I think that the model has shifted from just being a breadwinner, a disciplinarian, to someone that is actively present every day of your children's lives at home and in the community. And so that poses also a challenge, right? Of how do you then tackle those increased responsibility at the personal level, at professional level, while providing. And so the traditional role hasn't been negated to the back. There has been just an increase in responsibility. There has been an increase in what we as fathers should be able to do, or as a role, evolves. And so that is just my take on that question.
Mr. Mabvuto, take a stab at this question. Beyond the front door, what practical steps can our association, you being an association president there in California, take to encourage fathers to step up as visible, positive leaders within their local communities and within their family as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the role of fatherhood, the way I've come to look at it in my 26 years in the US, a father is not only someone who provides, a father is also the first government a child experiences, right? The first teacher of restraint, the first model of everything we come to respect, right? Money, conflict, respect itself, discipline, emotional tone. Children are echo chambers, and we often ignore this or in some ways take it for granted, but the echo chambers, they repeat what they see before they can even evaluate what it means. They'll just blurt it out somewhere at a random time. So fatherhood requires self-awareness because our habits become their inheritance. So you can say traditional authority had value because it gave structure, it gave order, it gave respect. But in modern households, authority without emotional connection can become very, very distant. And fatherhood still has to lead, but the leadership should not look like, in other words, the leadership itself should look like consistency, pressure, humility, and serve as an example. So as a community leader, I would encourage self-awareness At any moment we are around kids, at every moment we are at home. That continued self-evaluation, self-awareness is what kids see. Therefore, the good role model that you are is what they will project. That's what I would say about it.
Ndemena, take a stab at this question and let's see what your thoughts are. Zambia has a rich tapestry of cultural traditions regarding fatherhood. Which traditional values do you believe are absolutely vital to preserve, and which ones might we need to let go in today's culture?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think when we talk about the traditional aspect of fatherhood, in as much as we want to probably strike a difference between the traditional side of it and the modern side of it, I think there are some other traditional values that we're always going to hold dear, right? So when we talk about some of those things that we need to preserve, for example, respect for elders, right? I think that's something that we should instill as a father. That's I think something that we should instill in our children, in our youth, and especially that you realize that most of us have children that have never really lived in Zambia. They've lived in this part of the world. So some of those values might be missing, and especially if you as a father is missing at home to actually instill those values. So I think, those are some of the non-negotiable things: respect for elders, hard work. We need to teach and train our children to work. Now, there are some other things that we probably need to let go. I mean, some of it, the idea that the father should not express their emotions, I think, those are some of the things that we kind of need to let go. And as men, we hold things within ourselves, and we don't want to express ourselves. I mean, you could be down and you're still trying to portray yourself as being strong. I think that's in the long run that can be dangerous. I think we need to be vulnerable and express ourselves when things are tough.
So, Mr. Francis, you as a leader who is now retired, a retired association president like me, the question is, how can fathers best navigate the generational gap when teaching cultural heritage to children who are growing up in a highly digital, globalized world? Mr. Francis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Noah. Fatherhood for me has been the most honorable thing that I've ever experienced. Though fatherhood itself is a thankless job, I find it very intriguing. I find it very fulfilling. In today's world, with the fast pace of the world we're living in, I think as a father, you have to understand the times. It's very important. This has been alluded by our Comrade Aka. Our fathers really were mainly disciplinarians, and they just punished you. They didn't explain much. For instance, if you were on timeout and you broke the curfew, you went to play soccer. For us who played too much soccer, when you come back, when your mom tells your dad, you received a heavy whipping with very minimal explanation why you were being beaten. They'll just tell you you've broken the curfew and they give you the punishment. But I think in today's world, you have to explain, even as you punish your children, tell them why. It's very important. It's very, very important you explain yourself. For instance, if a child is skipping school or they're playing video games, they're not doing their homework. If you decide to punish them, also tell them the consequences. If they fail school, this is what you can find yourself in. If you go this direction, this is what can happen to you. Those are important stages so that the child doesn't just grow resenting you, but they'll get a lesson from why they're being punished. I think this is one thing we've done better as today's fathers. We engage with our children more. We do things sometimes, I see myself interacting with my children and I just go back and say, this never happened for me. I would never sit with my dad, watch a basketball game and just joke or, your child can look out for you, come in there and just explain a joke to you. Those are things we never experienced. But in today's world, it's very important to communicate that as a father, because many of the responsibilities that we have, we don't provide to our children because we love them. You should provide to your children because that's your duty. Being a father is a duty. It's a calling. It's a duty. I see today's parents, sometimes they punish their kids and after a while they feel bad and they go and apologize. What are you doing? You don't need to apologize for doing the right thing. When you do the right thing, you leave it right there. I'm not saying the way you approach your children, you should be mean. No. But let your no be a no. Let a yes be a yes. It's very important. Another aspect of fatherhood today is you have to be present, but not only present, but also available. Especially in this side of the world today, with, because of the pressures of life, people have engaged into work and you just immerse your work, your life into work so much that you forget your role as a father in the raising of your children. You have to reach a stage where you balance things. Even as you accept that job that gives you so many hours and maybe in the long run give you so much money, think about your children. The fundamental years of a child are very, very cardinal. If you lose them in the early ages, it'll be very difficult for you to train them in their teens or even in their 20s. So be present, but not only present, but available. They can approach you, be approachable. Let your child have a problem and still think, you know what, I'm going to talk to dad about this. Let me find out what's going on. They come to you. Your children shouldn't fear you, but they should just respect you as a parent. To the women, I see this many times. Some women want their children to be their friend first. It's a mistake, in my own humble opinion. You're a parent first and then a friend. Your job is not to be popular with your children. Your job is to direct them. That's your job. Stop trying to be popular with your children. I'm trying to speak some real talk here. We soften things by giving our children whatever they want. Gadgets. I want to sleep over. Okay, go ahead and do this. I'll buy them Jordans. I'll do this. After some time, those things backfire. You're not sending a right lesson to your child. Provide for your children everything that you feel they should have. It's very important. I'm not saying you reduce, but then don't try to be popular with them. That's not your job. Your job is to be a parent. How many times do I sit back today and say, wow, my dad used to cane me so hard. That man was so hard, but I appreciate what he did because some of the things I don't do them because of what he enforced in the house. So the lesson is not meant for now. That's what I mean. So you might think, okay, and children are very smart. If you have children, they can pitch you against your spouse. Whoever says yes the most is the favorite. Mm-hmm. Oh, I go to dad. Oh, whenever I ask him something, all he says he doesn't have money. Mom always buys me this. When that child grows up, I'll use my children as an example. My youngest is 20. My oldest is 30. Today, they work, they go to college, and when I ask them today, why don't you buy me Jordans? Oh, no, Dad, I don't have money. But when I remind them, this is what you used to do to me. Every time you wanted Jordans. Now for you, you don't have money. They laugh. We laugh it out. But those are lessons that I sold, and I refuse to be apologetic. So as I'm coming back to the question, Mr. Noah, a very important question. How do you bridge the gap between modern day parenting and the old parenting? You have to be in the middle. Take the things that really work for us. For instance, I value respect. It's very cardinal. Hard work, self-respect, hard work. These are very key things. In my tradition, in my language, Bemba, I'm Bemba. There's a saying that says, Sungomu Mukoshi, Ubulungu Tawashupa. It's a very deep meaning. Very, very deep meaning. And this can mean keep all the core lessons of life. It'll be very easy for you when you move to the next stage. For instance, working hard. There's a reward for that. Respect for people and others, and so just self-respect. Those are very important things in life, because if you don't curb those from your children, they'll grow up to be insecure adults. And this is now we find adults that are seeking validation just to survive. People live for likes on Facebook. But this starts from childhood. You tell your children, you are enough. You tell your child, you are enough and you're loved. And you can do all things if you put your mind to it and put God in it. So I'm coming back to the basics. Keep the core things. Don't be apologetic, but be loving and understanding. Also understand the times. We cannot say, I understood this, therefore you should understand. No, understand your children. Understand the world they're living in and what they're being exposed to. That will make you communicate well as a father. It's not an easy job, but it's the most rewarding thing to yourself. Don't raise your children so they come and take care of you.
Welcome to Kuchalo, your leading online hub for Zambians at home and abroad. Kuchalo is a trusted source of news, lifestyle, and practical information tailored for Zambians near and far. What we are: a platform designed by Zambians for Zambians and friends of Zambians. Tight-knit, inclusive, and Ubuntu-powered. We bring you the latest news, travel and tourism insights, investment opportunities, educational resources, and uplifting diaspora stories. A community-focused, non-political space celebrating our heritage. What we offer: community stories, diasporans making an impact, a bias-free zone, calm, factual, resonance over sensationalism. Our approach is Ubuntu first, content that strengthens community, celebrates heritage, and brings people together. Clarity, relevance, and inclusivity. Voices from Zambia and the global Zambian family, where you'll find us in Zambia, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, and everywhere in between. Kuchalo keeps you informed, connected, and inspired. Join the Kuchalo community today.
Hey, good people, this is Noah Ndlovu from Kuchalo. This is a platform for Zambians near and far, especially those in the diaspora. So our goal is to bridge the gaps in between and bring you content that uplift, inspire, educate, informs, and a little bit of edutainment there. In between, we try to throw in. At least we do our best. We are not as skilled as those comedians, but we bring you meaningful content. So you want to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Join the movement. On where we left off, Mr. Mabvuto, I know you've been sitting there listening, taking in everything that is being said. So here's a question for you. We often talk about raising daughters, but preparing boys is just as critical. How do we intentionally teach young men the emotional intelligence and the responsibility required to be great future to be great future fathers?
But,
Yes.
that's a loaded question, and it's the right question, especially in these times, because as men and boys, the standard and the default is that you want to win an argument, you want to have the last word, you want to to control the narrative, so to speak. But really, as Ralph Waldo Emerson put it, speak your truth today, but if that truth changes tomorrow, speak your truth tomorrow, right? Foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, meaning that if you're wrong, you admit you're wrong. And something else that would help, and this is the way I'm hoping that I'm raising my boy, is that when you pick your battles. So if there's an argument and you feel like it does not rise to where you should match the energy, then you don't match the energy. You speak with patience, you reduce the tension, and allow for that argument to surface because often what is being argued about comes from something else from before. So you want to allow that conversation to surface whatever it is from before that is causing that tension at that moment. So patience is the right key. Not speaking the first thing that comes to your mind is the right key. Not wanting to match the energy is the right key, so that your relationships may last a little bit longer, may last that extra day because you were patient in your response. So that's what I'm hoping that our young men pick up, and therefore, have the right relationships with their wives and the broader relationships in the world that they will live in. That's the way I'll put it.
Thank you, Mr. Mabvuto, for that. Now, continuing the conversation, we're going to go to Mr. Aka. Mr. Aka, take a stab at this question. Peer pressure and shifting societal expectation can confuse young men. What role should mentorship programs play within our associations to keep youth engaged and grounded?
I think the role of associations is important, not just for the young men, but also the entire family. First and foremost, we always encourage the Zambian family to be connected to associations. That's very, very important. And I'll take this opportunity on this program to call on each Zambian living abroad, not just here in the United States of America, but in Europe, in Asia, in Middle East, in Australia, and even the African diaspora states like South Africa and others. Connect yourselves to the associations. Associations are community resources. They are platforms where you can network, you can actually get a lot of family mentorship for your children. These leaders, they're not just leaders here too. And that's one thing I want to actually kind of dispel. A lot of times people think of associations as organizations that are there only to do activities and events such as independence and so on and so forth. Associations do much more than that. And so part of those activities include mentorship for the youth and the young men. And so coming back to the young men, it is very, very important that as men in the community, as fathers in the community, we take interest in the plight and the interests of young men. For instance, here in North Carolina, we are actually in the process of introducing what we are calling INSACA. And this program allows us to bring young men together and create a platform, a space for them to ask those questions that they might have. It might be questions about marriage. It might be questions about fatherhood. You know, for those that are upcoming young fathers in the community, it's about social interaction. It's about culture and values. And as you know, we are raising children, especially for us in diaspora. We're raising children in very diverse cultures, very different cultures from what we and probably my colleagues here on this panel were raised from, right? Back home, INSACA was not even a created thing. It was part of life. You interacted with elder brothers and elders in the community as a normal thing. Here, we have to deliberately create that space. We have to deliberately create that platform for young people to come and learn about values, about culture, about how to be a responsible father, how to be a leader. And so, you know, but also learn about conflict resolution, right? How does a young man approach disappointment? How does a young man approach, rejection, right? A lot of young people, they're growing up in a very brutal world where, there is racism, there is a lot of stigma around certain mental health issues. There is a lot of, challenges finding the right kind of career. How do we teach our young men to face rejection, to face disappointment, to face, failure, right, in life? Okay, these are important topics that we as men and fathers in the community must begin to address in our young people, in our young men. And that can be done through organized, deliberate spaces where mentorship can take place. And so my age and my encouragement to association leaders out there is create these platforms where young people can come to, where young people can feel safe. I'm going to go ahead and ask Mr. Francis Kombe this question, where a young man in California, in Northern California, can feel confident that I can call on President Kaela and he'll answer questions pertaining to these ABCD. Where young men in Virginia and Maryland and DC area can feel confident to call on President Chitumbo and say, how do I handle matters of financial issues in my livelihood or in my family? And so, this is my call to the community, to be present, especially for men, to be present in those in the lives of those young men. And so it is important. It is important to do it. This is how we're going to build a strong Zambian diaspora community, especially here in the USA, Canada, and other places.
It's important, I think, for us to ensure that we are doing the due diligence as leaders to reach out, to engage people, to be part of these associations. So, Mr. Ndemena, here is a question for you. The pressure to provide financially can feel overwhelming, sometimes leading to physical or emotional absence at home. How can fathers strike a healthy balance between work and ambitions and being present?
Yeah, that's a very important question. When you look at, most of us are in some way a product of how we were raised, right? And a lot of times, we are. So, for example, growing up, we had situations where, when a father says, "Do this," there are no questions asked, right? But then we kind of have to balance that as with really showing and developing our children, especially our boys, in the house, right? So instead of just being an authority figure, right, you want to show your children by the way you live your life. So, for example, you're not going to tell your child not to lie, right? Because if you're lying, if they see you lying, you're not going to be successful telling your child, do not lie, because they're learning from what you do. So you have to be a positive role model in the home. So when you look at providing at the house, for example, I think somebody already said this, you can buy all the Jordans, all the things, all the gadgets that you want. But if you are not present at home, those things don't really matter. So I think it starts by being present, right? Being present at home, having intentional family meetings, family gatherings, sometimes just being available, figure out what your kids want, what your children want, right? So you cannot really remove the aspect of your availability at home, right? In as much as, yes, you want to go and work overtime and provide for your children, but I think it's important that you're actually available in the home to actually provide that guidance for the children. So I think that's important.
Yes, visibility, being present is a key, and it's very important. So thank you, sir. So now, Mr. Kombe, the question for you is, economic instability can strain a household. What collective economic strategies, networks, or skills should our association prioritize to help fathers sustain stable households?
Thank you so much. That's a tough question and a tough ask, really. It's especially, I'll speak from our point, from our side, people in the diaspora. It's very difficult. I think it begins as a community. It begins with caring and just actually loving one another. That's very key. For instance, and then it comes down to what Aka was saying, community responsibility. These are very important things. This thing of living in isolation, where people who decide, okay, me, I don't mix with Zambians, not until they have a funeral or they're in hospital or they lose a job. Do they understand the importance of belonging? The importance of belonging cannot be overemphasized. You have to belong. Your children need to see you belong. And this is something that we've really navigated so well in Florida. When I was in office and long after I was gone, we emphasized on family activities. So our children knew us. My children know this is Uncle Brian, this is Uncle Waria, this is Auntie Josephine. We raise them like that. When you bring down a community to that level of where they feel they have to belong or they're one, many things begin to happen. You start, for instance, if there's a child that's going through stuff, don't leave it to the parents alone. It's your duty as a father or as a male figure sometimes to call these children. They don't need to be your children. You can call Aka's son if you know him and say, hey man, what's going on? What's up with school? What's happening now in your life? Sometimes children tend to be more open with strangers than their own parents. We've seen this. And here in Florida, we do this sometimes. I'll be going through something with my son. I'll sneak out to my friend and say, hey man, I'm going through this with this guy. The moment my friend sees my son, they pull him on the side, address those issues without him knowing that it came from me. So it begins from there. Coming back to your question, you said, how can the community help? on easing the economic hardships. Is that the question?
Yeah. So the question. Let me project the question one more time. I know it's a loaded question.
Correct. It is very loaded. Yes. So I see it. All right. So what we do, I'll come back to our association, ZIFA, which is being led by a very hardworking guy, Mr. Wembia. I'm very proud of him. For instance, if there are any job opportunity or openings or opportunities in the community, we post them in the forum, and we make it a mess sometimes to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, at my workplace they're hiring. Do we have any therapists in our community? Hey, my friend is having a wedding. Do we have ladies that can cook? This thing is happening." We give each other opportunities through dialogue and communication. So, but it begins with caring. If you care, you're going to notify your neighbor. And that's the reason why associations are very deliberate. Some of those gatherings we organize as association leaders might not mean much to others, but they're intentional. When people gather, they can talk about many things, not only opportunities here. You can, I'm talking to Aka and he can say, "Hey man, I am building back home, or I'm farming back home. This is a project I'm doing," so for instance, if I was looking for land and I didn't have any connection, I can easily pick it up. Where are you building? Where is the land being sold? Connections. We talk about things and you make follow-ups. So I'm aging all those community members in the diaspora. I know you're busy. I understand. But sometimes leave time to gather with your own. It's very important. And this, we've done it so well in Florida. We see people, if there's a function, they come in their uniforms, partake, and leave for work. Some are coming from work, they'll come to the function, or if there's an event at the park, they marry with everybody else and they go home. That is something that we should emphasize as community leaders. There's power in gatherings, not just families, not just with the people you know, but also community members. And these are places where sometimes you find out what is happening in people's lives. People don't just open up. For instance, and in this country, women are favored, not only when it comes to the law, but also when it comes to opportunities in terms of jobs. So it's very easy for a man to lose a job, and sometimes can be extremely hard to have one. Those are things communities should look at. It's very easy for a man to get depressed because the woman is the only one who's working. And it doesn't even help sometimes, because sometimes you can find a man working for 1 year and the wife is just home and there's peace in the home. You lose your job in 2 weeks and see what's going to happen. She'll start bringing you now. Hey, it's Father's Day, but I got to poke my ladies out there. She'll start bringing applications to you. Because you tell me, hey, at Aka's job, they're hiring. That's a signal. Because women are used, they know you have to lead. But in this Western world where we live, sometimes opportunities are not there for a man. It's very easy for a woman to get a job. It's very easy for a woman to get a good job. But for men, it's not as easy as it seems. So even as we interact with some of the young men in their 20s that are coming out of high school, we prep them for these hardships. We prep them, hey, just have patience. I'm still talking about the economics of the home, Brother Noah. So communities be deliberate, advertise opportunities, encourage people, find out what people are good at. Are they good at cooking, fixing cars, or painting? When you know those people who can encourage people to bring the problems to the community, and let those people get the jobs done. So that's how we can improve some of these things, not just relying on the jobs that we get, but for ourselves. If my AC is down and I've Walia who can fix my AC, I shouldn't call Julio to come and fix it. Let me call Walia. Well, yeah, come on, hey, come and look at my AC. I shouldn't pay them lower than anybody else. No, pay them like you pay other people. That's one way of encouraging others. The problem is we want free things and we want 70% discount on everything just because a person comes from your country. You're not helping. So I think communication and just caring and finding out can really help.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's true, Mr. Francis. Well said. And also, I just want to add on that. I think us as a Zambian people, I think in the coming show, I've been working on some numbers because, for instance, if you get 500, if you get in Florida, there may be over 500 Zambians. In Indiana, you have maybe 400 or 500. In Atlanta, maybe 1,000. And different California, I don't know the numbers. But for instance, if you ask Zambians, starting from July 1st to December 31st, each person or each household to come up with $500. And let's say we worked with all the leadership across the US. You may find that there are a lot of Zambians, and some of them are just sitting back. Now, for instance, I did the math some time back. If you get 3,000 Zambians, and each one was to be given 6 months to raise $500, you have $1.5 million. $1.5 million, that is enough money for us to be able to galvanize ourselves and get ourselves together. So for instance, if you had 5,000 Zambians, they each contribute $500, you have 2.5 million, not kwacha, $2.5 million. That money can be repurposed. We can buy property so that we can have something to own. So I challenged leaders to see what we can do collectively. There is power in numbers. So for those who are just joining us, we are talking about how we can emancipate and empower ourselves, because the power to do that is within us. Just get Zambians, ask them like, hey, you have 1 year to raise $1,000 and you get 5,000 Zambians, you have 5 million. That is money that you can buy a mine in Zambia. You can invest in and partake of what is happening. Unlike we leave it to the foreigners to be able to lead the way, we can look within and come up with alternatives to how we can raise funds. But the money is not a problem. The money is there. The numbers, like I've just gone through, it's just a matter of us working together as a people. We can easily raise $5 million and be able to contribute meaningfully. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back as we continue the conversation on Father's Day.
Patchwork wonder, Tilipoche, a people with many mouths, our tongues home to 72 tribes, but all speaking the language of Ubuntu here. We are hustlers, tamangas, always chasing the bag, daily fighting to survive, cause every day me kapenta na saladi, kapenta na saladi, Tilipoche, skilled in the magic of mixing. We are the Sashi warriors, masters in the art of groundnut combination. This nation cooks chikanda, the African Poloni. On our streets, we have to Tenanshara to escort you back home. Our Brystons are home to Michopo, the Zambian barbecue. You need to try out our supu yambuzi. We have a lot of cuisine here, but all are 5-finger soldiers, because at the end of the day, it's Padmin Shima. Our feet set the ground ablaze. We burn the dance floor while choreographing with the ghost of our ancestors. We are Nyau Masquerade. Every drum beat of the Vimbuza is an upbeat into healing. We are rebirthed through the Makishi. From the energy of the Chintoventori, we manifest the Kopala dance, Tilipoche. Children of the heritage of our traditional ceremonies. We are sons of the Nchwala, daughters of the Ukusefya Pangwena. We are custodians of the Likumbi Liamizi, waterbenders of the Komboka, and the offspring of the Luindi, Tilipoche. Gifted vocal cords. Music lives in our voice box. Our songs are embedded with spiritual energy. We are a blueprint called Zamrock, the architects of Kalindula. We jump on Dunka beats, Amapiano and Afro pop. We are Wezi, full of soulful melody. We are Shefi, cooking on beats. We are Sampa, making everything great. We are Yomaps, a geographical sound transcending and navigating borders. We are drama. We are Zambezi cinema, Tilipoche. The scenery in our backyard is the Victoria Falls. We are fishermen on the Luangwa, Zambezi, and the Kafue flows. Owners of minefields, our mind field with an alloy of a brain. Copper kind of reasoning with potential golden ideas. Tilipoche, a people of art, a people of grace, a people of memes, a people of drama, a people of diverse culture, a people of the people, a people evolving. Tilipoche.
All right, so that is a poem which was done by Rafael Banda, Tilipoche. I like that poem. So now, gentlemen, we are in the final stage for our conversation. So now we're gonna go back to Mr. Mabvuto to chat a little bit about this question. So, Mr. Mabvuto, in many communities, there is still a heavy stigma around men discussing mental health or being vulnerable. How do we break this silence and create safe spaces for fathers to say, I'm struggling?
That is a very good question. And it is a very impactful question, because mental health broadly by its nature, the best way for you as an individual to help yourself deal with it is to accept that there is something going on. When you accept it, then you can walk the path of getting the help that you need with confidence. Because if you look at our own culture, where we come from in Zambia, we don't have institutions for these things, right? So the only thing we have in Zambia is the stigma around mental health. When someone is struggling with mental health, the places that they need to go, we just used to call them kumento, right? That stigma alone, if someone is struggling privately, they will not come out because they don't want to be labeled that, Varia Kumento. And there's even some iconic hospitals wings that have a particular name, and if you're tagged with that name, it's over. So it starts with acceptance, and I would challenge the diaspora community to encourage young men to accept. We were talking earlier about financial strains. If you're facing issues, accept that it's okay for the woman, in your life, if you're married, to make more money than you, to provide for the family while you look for things that will settle you down. But don't over stress yourself to the point of mental health. But if you do, accept it. So that's how I would put put it. I know we're short on time. I'm not gonna go too heavy on it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir, for that. And I know, Mr. Aka, we are running down on time. So let's get you to share, I think, your 2 cents on this question. So, Mr. Aka, no one is born knowing exactly how to parent perfectly. What are the most critical parenting skills modern fathers are asking for? And how can we provide them?
I think modern fathers are the most important question that the society is asking of us is being present, being there, being available, as many of the leaders here have alluded to. We have to be available for these children. We have to be there for them. And I can add to this question and say, what does being available means? I think some of the things that Francis has said here is being there whenever you are required to provide mentorship. It's being there when you are required to provide conflict resolution. When there's a conflict between two children that are married in our society, are there elders like these men here that are available to step in? If I hear our son, Francis Kombe's child has a problem in their young marriage, is Aka available to step in as that elder in the community to provide conflict resolution and mediation? There's a question of, if one child in our community has come up short in their finances, are there men who can step up and say, it's not just talking and advising, right? Are there men who can say, here is $200, young man, go ahead and put down on that car payment? That's what we're talking about. Being available is being available in all aspects of life, right? That's what we're being asked for by the community. That's what we're being asked for as a community. When we talk about financial challenges, right, it starts with building social capital. If you build social capital, how do you do that? Being connected, being united in matters of social nature, in matters of financial, economics, and all so on and so forth. Being connected at family level and friendship level matters a lot. I tell people all the time that the most important investments you can make as a Zambian in the diaspora is promoting unity, number one. Number two is making family connections with fellow Zambians, because that's how you build social capital. And so I'm encouraging fathers, I'm encouraging leaders here to promote unity, to promote family connections, because the next time Aka is in trouble, the next time my son is in trouble, I know I can rely on Mabvuto Kaela. And when I call him, there's a problem here, brother. I'm short $1,000 to get my son to where he needs to be. He's going to call Ndemena. He's going to call Siddiq. He's going to call Charles Wembia. He's going to call, President, the association leaders in the community, right? They're going to call this one, Henry Sakala, and so on and so forth. They're going to call men that can stand up and provide the solution. And so, honestly speaking, that's what society is asking us to do. That's what our men, women are asking us to do, to be present, not just for our own families, but to the community at large. And so that's what being present means. Being available. Sometimes we don't need to talk. Sometimes we just need to listen. Sometimes we need to sit down and let the girl child come to us and talk to us about whatever issues they're going through. Let us be slow to anger, because they're going to come with some ridiculous issues to us. As men, we have to learn to step back and listen. Listen to our wives. It's not just the children that needs us. It's the wives as well. It's the women in the community. And so On that note, thank you so much. I appreciate this time, Mr. Njovu, for according us a space to discuss fatherhood to our community and the nation at large. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So we are now going to Mr. Ndemena as we are running down on time. Mr. Ndemena, the question for you is, if a father in our association is reaching a breaking point, what emotional, financial, or relationally, what specific resources or support structure should be readily accessible to him?
Yes, thank you so much. And I think it goes from what Aka was just explaining, right? But, you know, our communities, our associations, I think right now we are so interconnected with their peers. I think I've met everyone on this panel personally, to where if there's an issue, I'm comfortable picking up the phone and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, you know, do you have any resources? So as we need to encourage men, and I'll echo what Aka said. I think we have this thing in the diaspora where people feel they should not be connected with other Zambians until there's a problem, right? So I think we need to encourage participation in these associations, because that's where we can build these resources, right? In our association, we know we have people that deal with mental health issues, right? We know we have people that probably deal with finding jobs for people. So those are the resources I think that we need to start building in our communities. The other thing, I'm a Christian. From a Christian perspective, church is one of the things that we probably, I know we might have different religious backgrounds, but church is something that we need to encourage people to be exposed to, right? You get there are a lot of resources even in churches. And my first job here in America, when I first came to America, I got my job because of a connection I had with somebody in the church, right? So, I think those are all important frameworks that we really need to encourage. So I think, we can talk on and on about the associations, about, you know, just peer-to-peer interactions. We can learn from each other, and I think that should be encouraged.
Well said, sir. Now, Mr. Kombe is the last speaker. Then we'll go to closing remarks from the rest of the team up here. So, Mr. Kombe, your question is, what is the single biggest impact or shift you want to see in as Zambian associations or the Zambian people for, let's say, in the coming months or in the coming years? What do you want to see as the most impactful thing for the associations to focus on in terms of fathers and families?
Thank you so much, Mr. Noah. I think I would emphasize reaching out. Let's continue reaching out as an association. I know sometimes it's overwhelming and at the same time frustrating, but you have to know that you've been put in that position for a reason. So continue reaching out and make sure you know your members, the members of the community. Know them personally, not just by name. At least find out. It's very important. You're going to find out that there are many things that you never knew people went through. And once you become a president or a leader in the community, your eyes are opened on how much people go through. So to all the associations, I would say, continue reaching out, find out what's happening in people's lives. We have a lot of single women. We have some single women. Find out how they're raising their kids. You can you find out that they'll be struggling with some of the kids. That's your job now, as a community, as fathers, to step in. Sometimes, a child, as they grow, they might think their mother's voice. Now they're not very intimidated. But another man's voice, you can know how to sit them down, help those mothers, help those families, not just mothers. You see me struggling with a rebellious child. What do you do as a community? Find a way. Instead of you just saying, oh, we don't want another chupa. Oh, look at their child. They've gone astray. Don't take delight in that. It's Ubuntu. One man's problem, you should feel it. Come in, see how you can help. First thing is identifying the problem. The second part is knowing how you approach the problem. Because even when you identify certain vices, for instance, fathers, I'll come back to fathers. There's a son who's not in line. They're drinking. And we have this issue right now, especially in today's world, drugs and smoking and just, just bad things. It's your job to sit down some of these sons of ours. Tell them about the consequences of smoking and engaging in drugs or breaking the law. Let's not wait for the law or the police to straighten them out. No. Reach out to them. Tell them about the consequences. Some people think talking about something that can happen is being negative. But you should see it as a warning. Don't let the world punish our children for us to say, oh, we have this young man here, such and such son, he's serving 3 years in jail. We all would have failed. So when we see something, let's be observant. When we see something, somebody abusing drugs, somebody going in a different direction, let's try and approach the situation. Don't wait to be told to come in. Know how to do it. Approach the situation. Let's try and help our kids. They need our voice. You might change somebody's course of direction just by showing love. You approach the child. President Daka mentioned giving money to somebody to put on a car note. You might change somebody's thoughts just by doing that one kind act. And that child will come back and testify and say, I was going in the wrong direction. Nobody knew what I was going through. But and he helped me. That really to me, and I changed what I was doing. What am I saying? Let's be observant. We have been given this task as leaders, as men, to overlook our families and just see let's be involved in the raising of our children. And also our mothers, let's help the single mothers. There are single mothers that juggle things, work and kids. You are a man, you are there. You can help out in some of these things. Talk to the children. She struggles in this. You come around as a community, see how you can help. Let's move away from just talking about people to helping people. Let's be a people that are behind the scenes versus, have you heard? She was evicted. She thought she was this and that. That's not who we are. Ubuntu, let's bring it back. Thank you.
Well said, well said. So, gentlemen, we are now at the final point where if there's any last words that you want to share to inspire, encourage the fathers out there, please let's go 30 seconds. I know we are sort of overshooting on the time. In 1 minute or less, Mr. Mabvuto, your final words of encouragement to the fathers out there, 1 minute or less.
Yeah, first of all, I don't know if my network is stable, but I would encourage all of us, young men in the community, all men, to speak more to each other as a community, as individuals, to speak more. There's a lot of incredible Zambians doing a lot of great things out there, and I think the more we speak to each other, the more we can connect that connective tissue between everybody, leading up to something great that we can all do for Zambia, especially us in the diaspora. So get out there, speak more to each other.
Thank you. Aka?
Yes, thank you so much. My last comment to the fathers out there is you're doing an amazing job of being fathers. Let's be there for our children. Let's teach them values of where we come from and also where we are. I'm calling on all fathers to celebrate Father's Day. Please be available to the community. Association leaders, let's be available to our community. And we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Father's Day as it comes closer and closer. And please, if you have any issues, contact us at OZA. We collaborate and we work very closely with all associations in the diaspora. And we've created such a resource network that if an issue cannot be handled by an association, OZA will step in to do a national broader advocacy for any issue that is out there in the community. And so we are excited to be here on Kuchalo. Please follow Kuchalo and support Kuchalo for this wonderful. And then I'm going to give you a colloquial call, Mr. Ndrovu. We do have OZA TV as well. We wouldn't mind sharing this broadcast on OZA TV, even as we expand as we this year. And so we are excited to be on this platform, and congratulations, Noah, for this initiative.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ndemena?
Yes, thank you so much, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I think I'll probably just echo the words that have already been spoken. I think we need to build a stronger network. Recently, I had a member of a community reached out to me and asked whether we have like a men's group in the association, right? A lot of times you find that as men, we don't really talk to each other. We like to deal with issues solo because of various reasons. But I think it's time when we need to really build a strong network of men that will also be able to mentor the young ones, the young men in our society. So I think we really need to encourage collaboration amongst ourselves, amongst men in our various networks. So to all the men out there, I would encourage you to at least belong to a network of men that are doing positive things in the community. Thank you for having me today, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Mr. Ndemena. And Mr. Francis Kombe. Yeah, your final word, Mr. Kombe.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for this wonderful initiative, Mr. Noah. Continue doing what you do. You are a great leader, and we appreciate you. We love you for that. Happy Father's Day to every father out there who's available and present. I'm speaking to that father who hasn't been in their child's life. Go back and do the right thing. That child needs you. Let me also speak to the mothers as well. all those mothers that raise children that are not with their fathers, don't complicate things for these fathers. Don't punish the father using the child. What you're doing, you might regret. Every child needs a father's voice and a father's presence. So make it easy for those fathers that want to come and be part of their children's lives. It's very important. To the fathers, here's my appeal. If you go through things, we've talked about mental problems here, or even addiction, find a way of talking to somebody. It's very important. You are a very vital piece of life on earth. If you crumble, everything below you crumbles, including your children that have made you to be a father today. So if you have something that you're going through, find a friend, find somebody to talk to. It's very important. Men, we go to the curve. We don't usually speak out our problems. We'll meet in a place and crack jokes and be loud and laugh until we cry, and still go back home with all our problems and the things that we're facing. So if you have a challenge as a father, reach out and say something. Finally, happy Father's Day to my father, who's late, but I want to give him this big up. My father was never accepted. When grandma was born, real quick, when grandma was born, when grandma was pregnant, my grandfather didn't acknowledge that pregnancy. So my grandmother, at the age of 15, was raised by somebody else, and my father was allowed to come to this earth. My father ended up growing up and marrying and having 8 children. He loved us all and was present for all of us. That man is a great man. He gave us what he never experienced, but refused for that spirit to continue. He ended it by loving us. He was available, he was present, he was tough, and now I celebrate him more. So big up to my father. Happy Father's Day to everyone on the panel as well. Thank you.
Well said, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure connecting, and we look forward to circling back hopefully in the future. And let's continue working, uplifting our groups, associations. And I encourage everyone else, be part of an association, be connected, be engaged, and pay your membership. I just wanted to put it out there. Pay your membership.
That's a good one.
Otherwise, happy Father's Day. And gentlemen, thank you for being part of the show. Till we connect, and enjoy your morning, your afternoon, your evening. Is bye for now.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Bye.
This is Noah Ndlovu from Kuchalo. This is a platform for Zambians near and far, especially those in the diaspora. So our goal is to bridge the gaps in between and bring you content that uplift, inspire, educate, informs, and a little bit of edutainment there. In between, we try to throw in. At least we do our best. We are not as skilled as those comedians, but we bring you meaningful content. So you want to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Join the movement.